morning. It's Monday, August the 18th, and I'm on my way to school. I'm very proud of myself this weekend. So the last time I vlogged, which was Friday, I was ending it basically saying how tired I was, like just really, really tired. I think I was tired from just, beginning of the year, tired, work week, but also tired because I was not 100% feeling well. Just so I had like that rundown that you feel when you're sick, and then hormones were making me tired. So I went home that evening. I didn't do any work, and I woke up on Saturday. I had to drive out to my cousin's salon to get my locks taken down, which is why my hair is up in this little ponytail. And while I was there in the salon chairs, when I was editing the video that I was able to upload, but my intention was to come home and then do some work because there were school things that I'm like, I need to get this done this weekend. And I got home and I can't even, the tired that I have been feeling is just indescribable. Like I could barely hold my eyes open. I was super, super sleepy and was really trying to mentally tell myself, okay, you're just gonna push through, you're gonna work. And then I eventually got to a point where I realized you don't even have it in you. Like you can't. You want to do that, but you don't even have the energy to trust yourself to make smart, logical choices. So this is not a state you should be in to lesson plan or organize things for your classroom. So what I ended up having to tell myself is you're going to, I cooked dinner. So let me back up. Once I decided you're not gonna do anything, like you just don't even have it, I had to take a nap at 6 o'clock. I had to take a nap. Did that, woke up at about 7, had to go walk the dogs because they need a daily walk and they had been kind of on their own all day. Came back, cooked dinner, and just said, you're gonna eat dinner, enjoy it, go to bed, wake up. The compromise is you'll wake up maybe an hour earlier tomorrow and just get all the things done. Now, mind you, internally I was stressed because on Saturdays, that's the day I do my laundry, like wash the clothes, go to the grocery store, do all those things, so that on Sunday, that portion of what I need to do to be set up for the week is done, and all I have to focus on is work stuff if I feel like I need to. So the stress was, so in one day, somehow, you're gonna get your groceries, wash your clothes, put your clothes away, and do these work things that have been kind of looming over your head. Like I wanted to figure out, what is my homework packet gonna look like? I didn't have anything ready for this morning. And so that just was like causing me anxiety. But I said, look, you have proclaimed that this year you will be more balanced and that you're gonna focus on understanding that the rest is just as important as the work, and you can't work if you're not rested. Your body's already telling you you're tired. You're doing too much. Take a moment. So just do that and trust and have faith that somehow you'll get all those things done even though you don't feel like it's possible. So sure enough, yesterday came. I got up at 8, which for me isn't early because normally I allow myself to stay in the bed until 9. Started laundry, got my groceries, did all the things, came home, and just said, first, let's prioritize. Let's take care of just making sure you're ready for tomorrow. Like, let's get your slides done. Make sure you know what you're teaching, how you want to teach it, and then go from there. So I'm happy to report that I got everything done yesterday and still had, a little bit of time afterwards where I felt like I can just chill. So I feel like the lesson for me is that it'll be fine. If you listen to your body and take the break that your body needs, you'll be fine. So just do that. So I did, and here I am, drinking out of my coffee cup that I got when I was in the Bay Area. This is my first time using it. I'm not at the McDonald's drive-thru this morning, which is making me sad because I've been taking real advantage of getting that iced coffee for $1.07 with tax. But I don't have any more change, and what I was doing, I was getting rid of all this coin change that I had, and that was helping me to justify going there every day. I have since run out of the coin change, so this morning I said, let's just make your own iced coffee. You haven't been able to use your new cup yet, so let's just do that. So that's what I've done. So I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna get there a little bit earlier than what I need to. I have the homework packet figured out, I think, so now I need to run the copies. And we'll have to go over that as a class. I've also decided that we're gonna cancel soft starts this morning. I'm telling you this all now because I won't have time when I get in my classroom. I gotta lock in, and I also gotta figure out how to tighten up this tripod. I'm gonna cancel soft starts this morning because I wanna go over the quiz. They're not gonna be able to correct the quiz, but there's things I really want us to look at as a class, because a lot of them lost points just by not reading directions. Not only not reading them, but not listening to me as I read the directions to them before they started the quiz to kind of remind them, okay, this one has 2 parts. You should be answering 2 things. So just to show them, like, easy points were lost. Also, the concept of maybe some of us didn't really study our notes. And so I'm going to use the soft start time, which is about 15 minutes for that, because we don't have a lot of time to spare on Mondays because it is a minimum day. So that's that. I'm gonna stop talking because this tripod is really getting on my nerves and I don't want it to become a distraction to me. So I will definitely check in with you after school, more than likely, let you know how the day goes, show you what I've decided to do with the homework packet, and go from there. Okay, it's 11:15 right now. I'm on my lunch, and I haven't been working during my lunch, but today I need to get the what am I trying to say? The homework packet stapled, because I had just enough time when I got here in the morning to make some labels that I needed for the homework packet, make all the copies that I needed, and then time was up. So normally, back in the day, when I taught 5th grade and I was doing homework packets, that was like something I made sure to do before I went home, to avoid, you know, coming in on a Monday morning, scrambling, trying to make sure the packets are done. And I don't know why I put you guys here, because the stapler is all the way down here. So let's put you right here. But because I didn't know exactly what I wanted my homework packets to be, I wasn't able to do that. So next week will be better. So there's going to be a cover sheet. I made this cover sheet on Canva, and it goes down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it essentially is every day they have to read for 35 minutes per AR. The reading doesn't necessarily have to all occur at home. Sometimes they have time in class, and then when they finish assignments early, they can do that as well. And I made sure to explain all this in Google Classroom, and I'll show that to you later after school when I have a little bit more time. They're going to do states and capitals practice, and then every other week, I think approximately, they will do science with Zingy Learning, which is a web-based program that we used back in the day that I loved, and we were luckily able to get it a trial subscription at this school for free for the next year, since the school's never used it before. And that's it. So like I told parents, and sorry if you can't see me right now, like I told parents at Meet the Teacher Night, it's all stuff that should be easy for them to do on their own, shouldn't require a lot of help, should not be confusing in any way, but is necessary. And did I say multiplication practice? Multiplication practice. So I'm just gonna make these. I don't know why I have all these flipped over. Let's get our lives together, get them stapled, and go over it with the kids before they go home today. As far as the day so far, I'm feeling really good about myself because we actually cracked open our social studies book today. So we're gonna hopefully get some more of that done after lunch, after I do the read aloud. So I'm just here to check in to say hello since I had a moment. Let me staple these up really quick, and then when I'm done, I'll show you what the finished product looks like. 3:30, and before I tell you where I'm at, I mean, I really am having a moment where I'm so impressed with myself that I just thought to myself, who is this diva? And that diva is me. And it's only because when I tell you, when that bell rang at 1:15, we got out at 1:15, the way I shut my door and was like, and now we need to get some stuff done so that I could leave at a reasonable hour. Like, I really honed in. So I'm probably gonna leave relatively soon. I have one more thing on my list of things to do that I really want to do before I leave, because I kind of need to be here to do it, which is make their bookmarks for their AR goal, where I essentially am just putting their name on it, their reading range, their goal. Is this? Oh, this is for the whole year. I'm curious if they reprint these every trimester. We'll see, because I'm only going to print them out or fill them out for the first trimester. I gotta go ask the person next door how she does that. She told me, but I forgot. So I want to get that done so that it's just done, and we have library this week, and I don't want to be scrambling around trying to get that done tomorrow, because the library is Wednesday. But I wanted to show you what I ended up deciding to do for my homework packets, and also show you the math problem the math that we did today, because I feel like that question was a really good challenging question for the whole building thinking classrooms, and just talk about the day. So in general, I don't know, like, again, Taylor and I checked in with each other over the weekend. I texted her and I was like, 2 weeks of elementary school down, is it still a thumbs up? And she gave a resounding yes. And then she asked me the same, and I was like, yes. And we both were like, even though it's a lot more mental load, because there's just a lot more things to do, to plan, to be prepared for, as opposed to just being responsible for the 2 subjects that we taught last year in our electives. And there's just a lot more going on an elementary campus that you kind of have to be mindful of, because that's just the nature of it, like, you know, just cutesy little things and this, that, and the other. We were both saying it's more work, but like we said before, it's just different because it's a different kind of work. It feels more creative. And you're working with kids who are still relatively motivated to some degree to do well, to be well-behaved, or a combination of the two. So no regrets. And then especially today, I just feel like, I don't know what the word is. Like, I just had a moment where I'm like, I'm really satisfied right now. I'm really just glad I made the switch, because all the things that I missed, I've just really enjoyed it. So I've enjoyed teaching math and kind of seeing kids learn along the way and struggle through the process. Reading a picture book today, I read The Most Magnificent Thing to go along with the first theme of Wonders, which is ideas, and to also go along with the fact that we had our science fair kickoff. Just enjoying that. And I don't know, I think I'm just enjoying it. Like, I don't know that I have to pinpoint it on exactly why. I think the reason why is that I never disliked elementary school, and I only left because, again, I thought I was going to do middle school, and the school I was at, like, I didn't love it enough to just continue teaching elementary school. The first school I was at, when I started YouTube, I absolutely adored that school, the people that I worked with, the admin, and only left there because you don't get an opportunity to open up a new school often. But had a new school not open, it is very possible that I'd still be at that first school because I enjoyed it. So I think that what I'm realizing is I enjoy elementary school. I enjoy younger kids. I don't know if I just have been lucky, but I've never had a class of kids that are just kind of really squirrely, swarming around. I think the things that some people that are very anti-elementary are worried about. I don't really have like big attitude problems, but again, I came from 8th grade, and I do feel like if you can handle an 8th grader, then 5th grade attitude seems like a walk in the park to some degree. And like I've said, I run both classes almost the same, like my management style, the things that I expect, the way I conduct myself, my personality. I don't feel like I'm having to be any different. I do know when I first got to middle school, I felt less inclined to like be worried about my tone of voice or how I said something. But that was then when I think I just felt more insecure. Whereas now I feel like I've had enough experience to know, like, I can pretty much be myself, use my tone of voice, and it's okay. Like I said in one of my YouTube shorts, I think it's important for elementary students to experience all kinds of teachers and parents to see all kinds of teachers at the elementary level. So I just had a moment where I was filled with gratitude while I was stapling my homework packets. Like, I'm really liking this. And I think it was because today was a day where I feel like, okay, like, we are getting into a routine. We got to do some social studies, got my homework packets figured out. I think that was just kind of something that was looming. Started to remember some routines from when I taught 5th grade a while ago. It just all is feeling very good and very right, which is a good feeling. So I knew I was going to do homework packets because there are just things that I want kids to practice continuously, or there's simple tasks that need to be done, but we don't really have the class time to do it. And it's easy things that parents could help with. So I think I showed you earlier, this is the packet. And so every night they're going to have 35 minutes of reading. Every night they're going to have math multiplication fluency. I ended up having to buy a book off of Amazon because I don't remember. I think I probably tossed all the minute math stuff that I had from back in the day. And if I didn't, I don't know where it's at. So I just bought a minute math test or a math fluency workbook from Amazon. So every night they're just going to get a page that looks like this. I'm setting a timer for 2 minutes, and I told them today, your goal is to complete as much of the page, if not all of the page, as you can within that 2 minutes. I suggested that a parent set a timer, or maybe they set a timer, and truly just do the best they can. And reiterated the idea that you don't know your multiplication facts unless you can say the response like in the blink of an eye. Like, you really want to get to the point where it's that automatic. So they have one of those every night, and then I told them on Fridays they will take the minute test, where they're getting a variation of one of these pages that is this long, and they will have 60 seconds to complete it. So they practice that each night, and then we're starting states and capitals. This is a throwback. This is a throwback to the book that I used when I taught 5th grade, and if you followed me then I'm sure I talked about it. But it's a states and capitals book. I'll see if I can find it in case you want to purchase it. I don't even remember where I got it from, but I'm sure if you Google it, look on Amazon and just look for a cover that looks like that, it's probably going to be the same thing. And I distinctly remember that for some reason, where did I put that? I remember thinking when I was coming to middle school that for some reason that just wasn't a book that I was willing to part ways with, so I saved it. There's certain things that I just saved, and that's the other thing. I'm very glad that there are a few things that I said, I'm just going to save this because you just never know. Primarily all my picture books. I'm so glad. But it looks like this. It's called Regions of the United States. Map, activities, puzzles, questions, information about each state, basic skills. The publisher, I think, is Remedia Publications. And so you do like one section at a time. So right now we're starting with the New England states. I had to remember that this page, I remember I wrote at the top to save it because this ends up being their study guide, and I told the kids, you're going to complete this page, you're going to turn it in, and I'm going to give it back to you, and you want to save this page for the entire school year because you're going to need to be able to reference that every so often throughout the year. So they're going to do that tonight, so just complete the map. And then I let them know that there is a United States map in their binder reminder, which is like their student agenda. There's also a map of the United States in the back of their textbook. I said you could also Google it to get the correct location and capitals. I said because for this, that's not cheating to me. You want to make sure that you have your map correct, because if you don't, you're going to be studying things that are incorrect, and then you won't be able to pass your states and capitals test. So that's what they're doing Monday. Then the next day, it's a crossword puzzle based on the map that I just showed you. Like they get the clues, like for example, 3 across is what is the state that is north of Connecticut. So if they have completed their map correctly or have access to a map that is complete, they're looking for the state that is north of North Carolina, which is Massachusetts, and they put that in 3 across. So all the the clues here for this crossword puzzle come from the previous day's assignment. And then that would be Tuesday night. Wednesday night is a little comprehension piece about the New England states. So these questions down here are directly related to the reading up there. And I did tell them it is possible with this page I might choose to take 2 grades because it is social studies, but it is also reading comprehension, informational text. We'll see if I do that. And then on Thursday night, they do a different kind of crossword puzzle where it's just straight across. Again, they have clues. And that information also comes from the paragraphs from the night before. And then I said on Friday, this Friday, they'll take a practice states and capitals test because that also was something that had to come back to me. And then I also had to realize, because I almost put this page in their homework packet, that this is what I used as the test. Okay. And so the way that it worked is in the beginning of the year while they were learning the regions, they always knew what region we were studying and therefore what region they were going to be quizzed on. And as we got closer to the end of the year, towards the second half of the year, they just knew they were having a states and capitals test, but never really knew what region. So they just knew you need to be studying all your maps at all times. I was going to give them a pre-test, and I might still do it. It's just me finding the time to do it, just out of curiosity's sake. And so this might be something they can show at, what do you call that? Open house later to show their progress. So that's a possibility. But yeah, so what I ended up doing when I was making copies this morning is I made labels. I think I mentioned that. So I typed up labels, and on each of these pages I just put down a label that says that this is the study guide. Save it, don't throw it away. So I got that done. Homework packet is done. The kids, some of them were like, we have to do this and our math homework, and I was like, yes, but really it's not that much. Your math fluency practice is going to take you 2 minutes at max, and then you have a states and capitals study guide to create, and that's it. And I let them know that their 35 minutes of reading could include the reading that they do during the day if they choose to do so. I will not be taking any kind of reading log. Really, to be honest, I said, one way or the other, I said, you can lie to me every day. You can lie to me every day and say, yes, I'm reading 35 minutes every day. I'm reading my AR book. You can lie to me every single day and I'll never know. I said, but eventually the natural consequence is going to occur because you either will pass your AR test because you truly were doing the reading, or you're not because you weren't really doing the reading. You weren't being honest with me or yourself. And I said, there is a difference between reading and paying attention to what you're reading versus going through the motions of reading or holding a book to make it look like you're reading. So I said, you know, the ownership is on you guys. I'm not going to collect a reading log. I'm not asking for any sort of documentation to show, because truthfully, a lot of times kids will fill out a reading log, but that still doesn't confirm that they read. And I'm trying to make reading I'm trying to remove any tedium for reading so as not to discourage people to find an enjoyment of reading. So that is my homework packet. I feel good about it. There's still some stuff I need to look at because the grade level lead gave some spelling stuff and put in my box. I just haven't had a chance to look at it, which was why this week it said no spelling words on it, because I hadn't looked at it yet. But yeah, today math went well. We went over volume. I've been really liking the math notes, like I said, and I really wish I could show you like a student version of what the notes look like, but I can't because they take those with them every day. But I have been loving just knowing that I have provided parents with the daily slides every day so they can kind of go on, see what happened. Or if a student's absent, they have access to them there. They could see everything that we did or what the plan was, because sometimes we don't get through everything. And then loving having the ability to give them access. And what is this? Oh, I did it as a JPEG. I got to fix that. Actually, let me do it right now. So this is the completed page. We did volume today. So let me download, I think, there we go. It's a JPEG. So I have been enjoying having that as a backup. I'm sure parents appreciate it. I'm sure the kids appreciate it. And I will say there is an element where the kids kind of have to build the stamina of note taking and kind of keeping up. So I just always remind them right now, you shouldn't be watching me talk through the notes and then when I'm done talking is when you're writing. You have to kind of listen and write at the same time and make sure they know the ownership of finishing their notes is on them. So if they are moving behind or anything like that, they know where to find the notes. And also reiterating, just following the color coding that is offered to them. They don't have to, but I make a point to mention you should. So I've been enjoying that. Today, the elite employees started. I don't know, I may have mentioned that already, but that's been great. And I wasn't really sure if he was going to want to do it, because sometimes, you know, boys don't want to be that person, but he seemed into it. He sat right here in this special little seat with this special chair, took his job very seriously, and you'd be surprised how helpful it is just to have someone else do things like, okay, can you pick 2 people to get the lunch tub? Can you go put those file folders back over there? Can you go get some raffle tickets handed out to table number 6? Very helpful. So I'm glad that that got started. And then this week with soft starts, we're gonna do group rotations. I haven't talked too much about it because I'm new to it, but I like what I've done so far. So it's been a very slow rollout where they are just everybody's doing the same thing. They are given 15 minutes. The only thing that they were doing was moving to sit next to someone they wanted to sit next to. And that was it. This week, we're gonna move from that to almost swapping. Now you're gonna stay at your table group just for the management of things for right now, but every table group is gonna have something different to do each day so that they get some hands-on experience with some of the upcoming options for soft starts. So I made a slide that you got a little preview of over the weekend. We skipped it today for the quiz review, but here are the rotations. So table 1 is going to do a Sudoku puzzle, which reminds me I need to make copies of that. Good thing I looked at this. I need to make copies of several things. Group 2 is going to do a how to draw activity, and that's a book that I bought from Amazon. Table 3, they'll have cards. They could play solitaire, they could play go fish, whatever the case may be. Oh no, Group 2 is going to have a coloring page. Table 4 is a how to draw activity. Table 5 will have different Rubik's Cubes. I had a parent donate some of these, so they will have some of those. Table 6 is going to be playing Mancala, and then table 7 will have a puzzle. And so tomorrow, I'm going to show them a 1-minute-ish video on how to play Mancala, and I might even add that to Google Classroom so they can kind of look it over and just kind of learn the rules on their own time and review it. But we'll watch it tomorrow as a class as well. Also, I want to know, is anybody else having this issue with Canva? I keep going online and offline, and I talk to our tech person, and it only seems to happen when I'm on Canva or Cami. But if I go on my laptop and do something on Cami or Canva, it's very quick. So I don't know if it's my computers, my location in the school, or what the case may be. So that is pretty much how today went. Very good day, very happy. The only bad thing that happened today is I chipped my toe in a way that I need a pedicure like right now. And this is the time of the summer where my money is feeling really tight, especially because I put a classroom together this summer, and that is costly. So I gotta wait. I'm just looking at the toe right now and figure out some outfits to wear this week where that toe can be hidden, because I can't be showing that to anybody. So I'm gonna turn off the camera for right now. Maybe I'll take some just B-roll footage of me making these AR bookmarks, but I definitely first need to go make copies of these Sudoku puzzles, a coloring page, and a how to draw, and I need to unpack the Mancala. So I'm not as close to going home as I thought, because I need to get all this soft start stuff set up and ready to go. But perhaps I'll check in with you before I'm really about to go. But so today I would give it a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Elementary school, 10 out of 10. Okay, slight change of plans. I ended up not making my AR bookmarks. I'm going to take those home and do them, I believe. I looked up and realized, or you saw me realize, I hadn't gotten the things ready for the soft starts rotations tomorrow. So I have to make copies and then just get them organized so that when I walk in the morning, I'm not flustered trying to do that. So here are the different options. So group 1 is the group that is going to be doing Sudoku. I just got this off of Teachers Pay Teachers. They're pretty simple. And so I'm just giving them that. I do eventually give them the key, and I have friends check each other's. Then group 2 is going to do a coloring page. So I just gave them this one. This is from a book that I have. Group 3 is doing playing cards. Group 4 is doing a how to draw. This is the book that I got off of Amazon, which I think is this one here. I got this one and this one. And these are the Rubik's Cubes that a parent donated so graciously. I have 2 mandalas. One I got with extra money from my Donors Choose project, and then another one a parent bought. And then this is a puzzle that I got from the Dollar Tree that I need to fix that box somehow. And then this is the coloring book that I got that out of. And I need to put these away, as well as these for the pre and post test, and decide when and if I'm going to do that. So it is now 5 o'clock on the dot. I'm very impressed with myself. I thought I was going to go home earlier, but it's still pretty early for me. And I'm ready for tomorrow. So if worse came to worse and I just rolled in here and the bell rang, I am prepared. So that is good. But I'm going to shut down my computer and go home. Depending on how I feel, I'm going to cook. And I really do want these to be like teaching, but also show that I do things outside of teaching. Maybe I'll share my meal with you. If not, I will see you. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. A little bit before, well, it's before school, and it's a little bit before my contract time because I have to eat breakfast at school now in order to make sure that I get parking. But I thought I would check in with you guys now because last night when I was sitting on the couch looking at the upcoming week, I realized this is quite the week. I know for a fact I won't be able to vlog at all tomorrow because tomorrow is just, it's a lot going on. Let me see. Tomorrow I, obviously have to teach, but I have a PBIS meeting at 7:15 in the morning. Then I have a meeting after school that I need to confirm the time on, well, I should say in the evening, for the human rights cadre work that I'm doing with CTA. I have an EL meeting at 3 o'clock, and I have a doctor's appointment on the phone at 4:30. And somewhere in there I'm also supposed to cook a meal. So I just know that tomorrow I won't be able to vlog. And then today, I have to leave right at contract time, and for good reason. I have a manicure. And I need that manicure so bad because I just don't feel like myself because this nail is broken. This nail is broken. My pedicure fell apart yesterday, so I feel like I'm falling apart nail by nail. So today, what we have on the agenda is we're going to continue to talk about volume. And we're going to finish up social studies from yesterday. So they were supposed to do this geography challenge and we just didn't have enough time. One thing that I'm quickly remembering about elementary school is that there is so much, and really school in general, but there's something specific about elementary school because there's so many other little things going on that there's so much to do, and you just don't seem to have the time to get it done. And somehow you have to find a way to get it done. So we got the social studies read, but we didn't get through the geography challenge. And I definitely want them to do the geography challenge as an 8th grade teacher that taught history and watched kids just not even know like how to navigate a map. Like, we definitely need to do that. So they have their book and they're basically going to be working on identifying locations on a map when given latitude and longitude lines. And I thought I put that on Google Classroom. It's a good thing I'm talking to you now because I would have gotten to social studies and said, okay, it's on Google Classroom, and then been like, no, it's not. So I'm going to give them certain, not this one. They're only working on A and B today. So the form looks like this, and it's just interesting to see what TCI looks like at the elementary level versus middle school. So I've already noticed some slight differences, and I'll talk about that another day. But they just have a paper with 10 questions on it. I'm giving them somewhere between 3 to 5. So for example, it says label the continent that is south of the Southern Ocean, label the ocean that lies north of Europe, and kids need this. So I will be that 5th grade teacher that it's like, oh no, we will be doing some social studies and we will be looking at maps, because it just, like, they should be able to do that, and they couldn't for the most part last year. And I don't know if it was that they couldn't or they just didn't see the value at looking at maps graphics when presented. So that's social studies. That should probably take us to lunch, which for me is at 10:50. And then I'm going to read, I feel like that's not the right book. It says I'm going to read Ada Twist Scientist. Maybe I am. Ada Twist Scientist, so that we can talk about science tomorrow. And I bought a cute little lab coat kit for elementary students, and I plan on taking a picture of them in that, because we're focusing on the science fair for the first several weeks. So I'm going to read that story and then hopefully start this little assignment, cute assignment that I found on Etsy to put on the science wall, and I'll show you that when the time comes, because I don't have a lot of time right now. Wonders, that's where the struggle is, like just kind of getting on a pace. So we need to reread the story that we started and work on making inferences, and then also pull small groups. I'm hoping that I can save some time with math today, because we don't need to take any notes, because today is really an extension of yesterday. So there's no new notes, and the note taking does take up a little chunk of time, but it's also necessary. And I'm also hoping that I can get very quick with, while they're doing their soft starts, that's when I'm pulling them to the back, checking their homework, going over quick errors that I see that they made. And then maybe we'll get to the point where maybe I can pull a wonders group during soft starts. Like, that's my dream. I also realized yesterday I have to give them 15 minutes a day somewhere in all of this to work on a program called ST Math, which is new to me. But my understanding is it's a math platform that is teaching math skills through games and a penguin called Gigi. And there's no words, but you're just like running Gigi the penguin through, I don't know, adventures, puzzles, mazes that are mathematical, but you have to mathematically figure out how to get Gigi from one place to the other. And our student success coach, which is like an academic advisor at the elementary level, was saying pre this program and post, they did see pre the program and post with them actively and intentionally using it, they did see an increase in overall math performance. So it's something that we want to do, and it's a big push on campus. So I need to figure that out. My thought for that with ST Math and maybe their AR goal, like with ST Math, they're on a journey, and I think it's like there's benchmarks. I have to look at how it all rolls out, but it may be one of those things where by Wednesday of every week you should have made this much progress, or you should be at this point, and if you're not, then you have to spend your soft starts time doing that. So that's another thing that my brain needs to think through and figure out. So that's today. We also have PE and it is a prep period, but we're meeting with the success coach to do some backwards planning. And then I am getting coached today by a Title I coach, and that's mandatory. And I know I put down things that I wanted to be coached on, really because I haven't done elementary in a while and I want to see what's changed. But right now I'm so overwhelmed with just like getting in my groove. I'm gonna probably be honest with her and be like, you know, you tell me, like you just give me some stuff. Like, I don't have an agenda, like a mental agenda. I typically would if I'm being coached, but right now I'm like, I'm just trying to get acclimated still. And she's pretty cool, so I don't think that'll be an issue. Like, we're definitely going to use the time wisely, but I'm not as prepared as I think I would be had I been teaching here for a couple years. So that's the plan, and that's probably all I'm going to get to say to you today. But I did want to show you 3 books that I got over the weekend, and this is probably one of the reasons why I'm just really thoroughly enjoying being back in elementary school. I was so excited when the books came yesterday. So Unit 1 is Ideas, And also we're doing the science fair kickoff. So I was Googling books, picture books about ideas and creativity. And this is a book that came up, and it's a book that I've seen on Instagram repeatedly when I was in middle school, and I was like, I wish I taught elementary school because I really just want that book. I don't even know if it's good. I just am assuming it is. So I bought The Crayon Man, the story of the invention of the Crayola crayons. 1 second. Robinson, thanks, bye-bye. So I got that one. Then, of course, when you're ordering on Amazon, it'll show you other books that are related. So I got The Boy Who Invented the Popsicle. Also haven't read that one. And this one I'm really excited about just for the representation of it all. This one is called Whoosh. This is the man that invented the Super Soaker. So over the course of the next several days, I'll read it, share it. And I told them, which is what my plan is, they will spontaneously be taking AR tests on these read alouds. And I said, you never know which one I'm going to pick. But I will pick one. And I said it should be an easy A because you're just listening to the story. So yeah. That is the plan there, and I will put it in as a listening grade for sure. That is the plan for today. So I now need to prepare for the day. I have some things to do. I actually did not go home and make the AR bookmarks because I went home, pulled out my clothes for the day, cooked, walked the dogs, ate, showered, ate dinner, and by the time that was done, it was time to go to bed. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say I'll see you on Thursday, unless by some miracle I find a pocket of time to chit chat. But let's just say I'll see you soon. Surprise, I'm back. First and foremost, I have a sneeze that has been stuck like in my nasal passage for hours that needs to come out. So if I suddenly sneeze, my apologies, but I can't wait to get it out. I'm back because what I realized is I'm gonna leave in about 20 minutes to go get my nails done, and I'm just gonna come back because there's so many things that I need to get done and I need to be ready for tomorrow because I have that PBIS meeting at 7:15, and I'm not gonna get everything done and ready to go to the point where my mind is freed and cleared up within the next 20 minutes. So it is what it is. I'm gonna have to come back here. And to some degree, I'm okay with it because I don't have to cook tonight. And I'd rather get it done and not have it like stressing me out. I'm really just here because I wanted to show you something that I've learned how to do on TikTok, which I really loved, and I used it for the first time. So I use Classroom Screen. I started using it last year when my amazing partner, Miss Lawrence, showed me how to use it. And I have loved it since. And then over the summer on TikTok, a teacher showed you how to like play around with the background so that you could put like I don't know, like I guess cafe, I don't know. I'm gonna show it to you. I don't really know how to explain it, and now I'm rambling. Hold on, let me fix this really quickly. To make it so that you can have a background that is basically aesthetic, I guess. So this is what I left the kids to do. I had to step out of class today for about 20-25 minutes for my Title I coaching, and I'm going to turn the lights off actually so you can see it better. But you can put a lo-fi scene in Classroom Screen and let it play as well as have the music play with it. And so that's what I did. I'm going to save the screen because I'm going to use this for what I call Starbucks mode in middle school, but I just call this coffee shop vibes. So I made this, and then I'm gonna give them a menu. So in middle school, they had the option to work on whatever they needed to. Right now, I wanted them to work on things in this particular order. So it says on today's coffee shop menu, 1, they had to finish their geography challenge. 2, they had to finish their summary for the story of Fresh Idea. After those things are done, they could do ST Math for 15 minutes. 4th, they could read their AR book, and I told them if you do ST Math and you've done your 15 minutes and there's still time and you want to continue ST Math, you can, instead of reading your AR book. And then I have this little reminder. Remember, when people are studying in coffee shops, everyone is doing their own thing by working independently and quietly. Gave them a clock so they could see the time, and I just let this play. And I'm like, how relaxing and soothing is that? So while I was being coached, that's what they were doing. The sub didn't report any issues. They claimed that they were little angels, and I'm gonna take their word for it. So I wanted to show you that. And we also did something called silent appointment today, with the story of Fresh Idea. So I gave them some comprehension questions, and let me go ahead and pause this because it's a little distracting. Okay, I had to pause the music, but let me show you this really quickly. We are reading the story of Fresh Idea, and so there were some comprehension questions that I wanted them to work on. We still didn't get into groups today because of PE and because I was pulled out, so that's kind of frustrating. But they had these 4 questions, and depending on the type of question it was, I put in parentheses yellow or blue. Yellow meaning they had to make an inference, blue meaning it was a straight comprehension question. You could get the answer from the book itself. And we talked about what it means to make an inference, because I'm not sure at this age if they've heard that word, do they know what that means? And so I gave them 1 question at a time. And we did something called silent appointment, which is a strategy that I got from CLR training. And in silent appointment, you give them a question, you give them time to respond to it. Typically, I think you do it when they're answering questions individually, but they were working as shoulder partners, so they were making a silent appointment as a set or as a pair of students. So I gave them the question as a pair, I gave them time to work on it, and then when that time was up, I said you have 30 seconds to make a silent appointment, making sure to explain what that means. You're using nonverbal cues with another pair of students in the room to say, I'm going to meet with you for this round of questions. So I gave them 30 seconds, made it explicitly clear, told them my cookies would be frosted if anybody talked. My cookies being frosted is a level 1 irritation in my class. Gave them the time to make the silent appointment, then gave them time to discuss, and then I called on a couple of volunteers to share out. And they did a really good job. So I thought it would be nice to take some of their learning, because my focus is to make sure the room has student work as much as possible. So I just took their Post-it notes from their responses and had them put, oh my God. And we have our first damage in the classroom. Do you guys see this? That's okay, I'm gonna staple it, it's gonna be fine. But best believe I had a whole conversation of we should never have our bodies touching these walls. And I let them know I'm panicking on the inside, but I'll be okay when that picture fell off the wall, because it shouldn't have. It would only fall off the wall if someone was touching it, leaning up against it. But back to what I was saying. I put their Post-it notes up around the little flag that says this is where the fun happens, because learning is fun. So that was a highlight of the day. Another highlight of the day I would say is reading this book. I had seen this book before, had never read it. I bought it specifically to start talking about the kickoff of the science fair, and I just loved it. I love all those books in that series, but I probably loved it just for the representation of it all. So that's really all I have to share right now. This will be all that I share for the day, because I know when I come back from getting my nails done, I'm going to want to focus. And I need to go address the damage on the wall over there before I leave. So, see you tomorrow. Hello, it's Friday. It's 5:38. Long time no talk, and I believe the last time I spoke to you it was Tuesday, and I do believe I forewarned everyone that you wouldn't hear from me the next day, because Wednesday of this week was a day that I was very frightened of, just because there was so many things going on, and that day lived up to what I thought it was going to be. By the time I got home Wednesday evening, I was depleted of all energy. So I don't know if I said, but on Wednesday I had to be here at 7:15 for a PBIS meeting. So I had that. Then I taught. Then I had duty after school. Then I had an EL meeting after that. Then I had a doctor's appointment. Then I had a meeting for CTA. And I think I said all that before, but that was the gist of that day. And it was just a lot. And then on Thursday, I did have intentions of vlogging, but I don't think that I did, just because I went home Wednesday night. I was exhausted. I went to bed. I left here, and I don't really think I was fully ready for the next day, or I may have just woke up on Thursday and just was so tired that I just knew I didn't have the mental space to vlog. So I did it. And so now we're here. I've completed another week, the end of week 3 for me. It's still a week where I feel a little off, like I haven't been able to keep up with my exercise routine, partially because I had just been going to bed late and just really trying to find the right balance of like, okay, your goal is to work out on these days because that's part of the plan, but you also have to be better about just listening to your body. You're tired, you were sick last week, you're feeling run down now, and sometimes getting that rest that you need. And it's not like I'm getting extra sleep, it was just like I don't want to shortchange myself. Instead of getting 7 hours, I'm getting 6. Sometimes that's more important than the actual exercise. Sometimes it has more health benefits. So I'm trying to really not train myself. I don't know. I think I'm trying to get to a point where if I have a day where it's technically a workout day and I didn't get it done, I don't feel like I'm a failure, like desensitize myself to that feeling. So I just try to, you know, balance things. So I'm here, it's Friday. I've been here for a while, making my slides for Monday, making sure I know what I'm doing there. And just kind of cleaning up, which I still kind of need to do. And I've decided that on Fridays, if I'm here late, is really focused on me just making sure I'm ready for Monday and maybe doing some lesson planning here. This time I'll probably do some more at home because like everything for me right now is new. I don't have anything I can be like, oh, my plans from last year. So it's a little bit more involved, a little bit more entailed, a little bit more labor intensive, and so I can't be here forever. So I'm gonna do some of that at home. Not tonight, probably over the weekend. And then on Monday, I just decided this while I was cleaning up piles of paper. Mondays, I had to remind myself, is a minimum day every Monday for me. Whereas in middle school, every so often we would have a minimum day on Monday. So on Mondays, we get an extra hour or so after school, and that'll be the day that I collect or enter grades. So like today I collected their first homework packet. There's things in it that I need to go through and grade and enter into the computer. There's a couple things we already did this week that I want to enter into the computer. So I just told myself, let's save that for Monday, because I was kind of getting a little overwhelmed with, well, you want to also update your grade book, blah, 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 blah. So I just picked up the camera to take a break and kind of talk about the week. The highlight of the week is that yesterday I pulled more than one group. So I have met all the groups, which has been a long time coming. I've been really trying to do that, and it has been a challenge just because there's been so many little things that have gotten in the way. Assemblies that are needed, library, just kind of really getting the flow. So I met with all the groups. I've met with the couple twice. There's 2 more that I need to meet with before we do our first assessment in Wonders. We're gonna do the first one together. So that was a highlight. We have continued to work through social studies. That has been a highlight. I would say the true highlight for me, and I just gotta make sure I get up and keep the sweater on. I'm wearing a sweater, but it's burning up out here just because I have to keep the name of my school covered. The true highlight, I would say for me, is just the books that I've read this week. So I bought a few books last week to go with the fact that we were kicking off the science fair, and Unit 1 is about ideas, and the two kind of collided. But I read this book today. Whoosh, loved it. The Crayon Man, enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the Popsicle Man. And the, which one was the one that was new to me? Oh, Ada Twist Scientist, I hadn't read, was my favorite. So I'm really enjoying that. I would say that has been the highlight. I am trying not to order 2 more books over the weekend, but I just can't help myself. So that was good. And then we made these cute little foldables. I think it's a blur now. I think I showed these to you guys, but this is what I'm going to put on the wall, the science wall. This was something I found on Etsy, just a quick foldable that the kids got to make earlier this week, and then I took pictures of them in a little lab coat and some glasses, and that will be up on the wall. I just have to get those pictures developed, and I am known to really drag my feet on getting that done, and I'm going to try and make it so that that doesn't happen. We took our first minute multiplication test today on the zeros and the ones, and we took a practice states and capitals test. So I'm trying to really dig back in my memory, and I believe that I would do states and capitals for 2 rounds, meaning like 2 weeks we would study a region. In the beginning of the year, the first week I gave them a practice test so they can kind of gauge where they were at if they've been studying, and then or to give them an alarm like, whoa, you might want to start studying. So we did that today, and I think some kids were kind of like, oh, I should study. So yeah, that's pretty much been the highlight. So I also turned on the camera because I got something and I was just holding it and then I put it down. And then I'm probably going to put the camera down because I don't want to be here all day. And there's an APEC, African American Parent Advisory Committee function going on across the way, and I kind of want to pop in and say hello before I leave. But I really turned this on because I got something in the mail today. I don't know what it is. I think it might be a donation from a parent, but it reminds me that last night I went on my phone before I went to bed because I was like, where are my whiteboards from Donors Choose? I had gotten some other things in the mail from them because I had a set of boards. Then I had to replace the boards because there was no inventory, and I found them cheaper, so I had like a credit. So then I said, great, I'll use the credit and get some things for soft starts, which I did. And then last night I'm like, I should have my boards by now, and so I go on Donors Choose and it says replacement items due by September the 6th. And I was surprised because I didn't get an email saying I needed to get replacement items. So I'm glad I checked, because had I not, September 6th could have come and gone and I would have not gotten the boards at all, because they just don't, I don't know what they do with the money actually. So I found another replacement that I'm hoping is in stock that might actually work better, and fingers crossed they come. And then those were even cheaper than the first replacement, so then I had more of a credit to spend, so I got more soft starts things. So yes, these are from a parent, I just don't know who. Or is it? No, this is actually, I think, from Donors Choose. Maybe this came through Amazon. Wow. I put this in last night and it came this morning. These are things that I ordered. So one is a Tetra Tower, a 3-in-1 Lego kit. And this is great because I think on Monday of next week is when I'm going to start seeing how they do with self-selecting. Another Tetra kit. I don't think I meant to get 2 of those, but there they are. Yeah, this is not all of it, but this is some of it. And then another Lego kit, a 3-in-1. This is a unicorn. So that solves that mystery. But everybody keep your fingers crossed. Pray for me. I'm really hoping that this round of whiteboards goes through, because I've already had one slight casualty with one of my white book boards where it got ripped. So I'm really hopeful. But right now I'm going to pause, go pop over, come back, clean up, and I really do need to get home because it's almost 6 o'clock. So I'll come back and close out the vlog. I've straightened up my room to the point where I am comfortable with leaving. So I put all the stuff that I need to grade or enter at that back table ready for me on Monday morning. So that's there. I was also working on making sure the counters over there are cleared. That table in the front is straightened out, has what I need for it on Monday, and my desk is relatively clear with a couple things I just need to take off before I go. The other little update that I keep meaning to tell you that I forgot about is all that drama that I had with this little lamp over here. I think I solved the problem, and the problem is that I just wasn't pointing the remote over far enough, because once I hypothesized that that was the issue and just made sure I was pointing it in a certain place, it hasn't been an issue. So all is well there. But I'm going to end the vlog here. Hopefully it doesn't feel too disjointed for you guys, but it really was kind of a busy week, and I'm really trying to practice what I preach in terms of talking about balance, and really trying to follow the advice that many of you give, where I'm like, where you guys are like, you need to rest, give yourself a break, and just kind of take the time that I need, or take the days off as I need them. Even to the point where Wolfie spent a couple of days with my mom this week just because I needed a break, because like I said in the last vlog, having 2 dogs is a lot, and having 2 dogs when I had Genesis and Riley wasn't really a lot because they were older dogs and they were pretty independent, whereas Wolfie is literally a Velcro dog, plus he was sick, projectile vomiting. And Luna's just needy because she's a puppy, and so I just needed a couple of days where I was just really worried about one dog. So Wolfie got to spend a couple of days with his Gigi. So he's home now. I'm gonna go see him, and then maybe go to the pharmacy and get myself some food and maybe edit this vlog so it's done. So if you enjoyed today's video, or not today, no. If you enjoyed this week's vlog, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you'd like to leave a comment, please feel free to do so. If you've started school, let me know how your school year is going. If you just want to say hi, do all those things. I promise you guys, the only reason I keep uploading videos is because those are the things that keep me motivated to keep sharing, because a lot of the times I'm like, I don't know that people want to hear what I have to say. And all those things do support my channel. So please feel free to do that. But as always, I hope that you guys are well. And if you're not well, please be well. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.